What's up, everybody? This is Mike here at Rogue Comics, and I am a little discombobulated. Actually, it's my normal state, but more so because I'm using OBS again, and I don't know why I continue to do this to myself. I do like OBS. I do like the fact that you can modify streams and, do graphics and all that stuff if you are so graphically inclined. But I am a full 20 seconds away or behind. So I'm looking at the OBS program here, OBS Studio, and I see the preview and I also see the program, which is what you guys are seeing right now. However, on YouTube Studio, little window thingy there, I am legitimately 20 full seconds behind whatever OBS is showing me. So it's kind of like, I guess imagine yourself like in an echo chamber and you don't exactly hear everything all at once or something. That's where I am right now. That's where we are right now. So yeah, so this is going to be the new Comic Book Day stream for this upcoming Wednesday, August 14th. I actually got myself organized enough to do it, and here we are. Let me get rid of this first. I have two monitors, and they're huge. They're huge monitors, two widescreen monitors, and I still need more space. Like, I don't know if it's just my mismanagement of desktops or what, but anyways, enough rambling. You know what? You guys came here to see comic books, damn it. So we're going to get to that right now. We're going to start with DC. We always throw DC a bone and do them first because, well, I mean, it's DC. So here we have Absolute Power Task Force 7, or VII, for those who are numerically challenged. This is issue number 4 of 7. I find it ironic that the main Absolute Power book has 4 issues, while the tie-in has 7. I mean, I guess, sure. And it's been on time, so yay. Keep it going. Action Comics is up next. This is issue 1068. Oh, and by the way, this cover here, this was by Pete Woods, just to let you know, in case you care about such things. This here is by Eddie Barrows, and I gotta say, I did like the art in this book. I did appreciate the art on Lois and Clark more than I did the main action story, but I like them both, so, splitting hairs right here, the American way. And I'm not doing variant covers. I've decided not to show variant covers, especially because some of them I might not get. But I can't pass up a Frank Cho cover, and this is awesome. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It's my stream. I could do whatever I want. So there you go. Frank Cho, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Up next, Batman and Robin, issue number 12, with a Simone DeMeo cover. And here we have I didn't even see you guys in here. What's up, Spence? How's it going, my friend? Austin. Wow, long time no see. Is that Dominic? That's not Dominic Mysterio in your little avatar thingy there, is it? Looks like him. Anyways, this is Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, and as you can see from the cover, a certain Amazon decides to join the fun. And this is issue number 3, I believe. So we are at the halfway point for this 6-issue miniseries right there. Up next, DC versus Vampires is back. And they do have Otto. Like, Otto, let me say something. Otto, his art, Otto Schmidt he's the artist for this book, in case you didn't know. And is it still Rosenberg? Yeah, Matthew Rosenberg is writing too. Otto's art isn't necessarily the cleanest, I guess. It's like kind of jaggedy, and it annoys me in other artists, like the dude that draws Moon Knight, Capolino, Capo whatever. I don't know. I apologize. I'm not trying to be flippant about his name, but I know it's like Kappa something. But his art is like a little too jaggedy. I mean, it fits the title, but I'm just not a fan of that. I like, curves. I like, soft. Like, it's just like Frank Cho. Frank Cho, for instance, his art is very curvy, and that appeals to me. But Otto's art fits this story. If you get it, or what is it? If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. That's what it is. Like some artists, sometimes their art just fits the story. It fits the book. And when that happens, It's perfect, and Otto's art is perfect for this title. So glad to see him doing it again. This is World War V or World War V. Again, for those numerically challenged. Hold on, let's before we get into this one, because I have something to say about this one. Spence says, I've been enjoying Batman and Robin. You know, I've read, I think I read issue number 1 and maybe issue number 3, and I do like it in theory, but I did say, as I've said before, Simone DeMeo's art, it basically makes my heart, like, it rises, because his art is so busy, like everything is action. Like, even if the characters are sitting there doing nothing, it feels like they're doing it at like 100 miles a minute. And it's a criticism, but it's not a criticism. Like, he's good. He's a good artist. It's just everything is like action. Like, dude, just we need like panels where there's like, you know, just let it breathe. Let us relax a little bit, you know. But he is a good artist. I do like him. I do, definitely. Haven't read Gotham by Gaslight. Neither have I. I did read the previous one from the 80s, 90s. I think it was late 80s, early 90s, whatever it was. I think maybe it was 91. I don't know, whatever it was, by Mike Mignola. I read that one, but I haven't read this current one either. And Austin said I'll hop on tonight if you get on. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, dude. I mean, I have been on, and well, I tried to get on last night, but it just wasn't destined. So, moving on, we will discuss this, as I've been telling my customers that they've come into the store this weekend. The best Jason Todd Robin is the dead one, and unfortunately, this title basically gives us a what if Jason Todd had not been murdered. See, there were people back in the late 80s, early 90s who were actually smart and knew what should have happened with Jason Todd, and they did their civic duty by calling in and letting Joker murder Jason Todd, which is, it's what he deserved. So, because he was a whiny little, like, it's just, he's the worst Robin. I'm sorry. There's no other that's worser than him. Like, I'm trying to think of one and I can't. Because it goes Dick, then Tim, then Steph. Oh wait, okay, wait, you know what I mean? I'll put Damian. Damian edges, just barely edges out Steph for me. So it's Dick, Tim, Damian by a slim hair. Steph, Carrie Kelly, maybe? Yeah, whatever. Jason Todd is at the bottom, like the low bottom. And the fact that they brought him back as Red Hood is even more ridiculous. But here we are. I mean, this is what happened. So I'm here for it because, you know, I don't mind what if stories. And, you know, back in the day, it wasn't like they were prepared for things, you know, like, because back then you had to dial a 900 number, or was it 800? Either one. It was 800 or 900, whatever it was. And it's not the way it is today. And they didn't know, and they had to have, I think it was Jim Aparo, if I remember correctly. He's the one that was drawing it. They had him draw 2 separate ways, just to cover, you know, both ends. But yeah, so here we go, 2. This is issue number 2 of 4. And as you can see, yeah, you can see who's there. I'm not even going to say his name. We'll leave it at that. Gotham City Sirens, number 2. Now, I was kind of irked that I had to order all 4 issues before issue number 1 dropped. Because, see, here's a little inside baseball. If you own a comic book store and you order comics from Lunar, which is the distributor for DC, then you have to order books in advance. Like, literally, the listings come out 2 months in advance. So books that are going to be coming that I have to order this month aren't dropping until October. So there is something called FOC, which is final order cutoff, and there was a comic book store in California somewhere. They actually brought up a class action lawsuit against the distributor at the time, Diamond and Marvel and DC and all them, for the ridiculous practice of making stores order the books 2 months in advance. But they successfully won, and that's how the FOC was born. So now when we do the FOCs, granted it's not 2 months out, but it's still like, you know, maybe 2-3 weeks sometimes out. But with this, I've already ordered all 4 books, even though number 2 is coming out this week and number 1 came out last week. So I don't know how it's going to sell. It could sell. Actually, I think number 1 sold pretty okay. But then again, it is a number 1, and number 1s traditionally always sell better than the rest. Although when I try to put sets together, for some reason number 3s always seem to be missing, and I don't know why that is. But this is number 2, and I'm pretty sure that's a Terry Dodson cover. Trying to see I see the signature down there, but it's very, very, very small. But that is very Terry Dodson-esque, and I'm there for that. The art inside is okay. I prefer a little more good girly art, but cheesecake, that kind of thing, especially with the sirens. But what are you gonna do? You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Here we have Green Lantern number 14, and if I remember correctly, Monaco isn't on this, and his art is phenomenal, and I was disappointed. So it is a tie-in to Absolute Power. I just noticed that now, so that's probably why it's not his art, and that's okay. The Shadow Lantern story was pretty good, but yeah, I just want more of his art. Here we have House of Secrets. Now this is issue number 92. This, for those of you that might not know, this is the first appearance of Swamp Thing. And this is a really cool cover, Bernie Wrightson right here. Now, there is a variant cover that I was thinking about putting in here, but DC is doing these Beetlejuice variant covers, and they had Kelly Jones do a variant of this. And instead of, I don't know if this is Abby or not, right there with the brush, but instead of Abby or the female here, it was Beetlejuice right there as Swamp Thing was coming in. So, yeah. Here we have Outsiders, issue number 10, which apparently, according to the cover, says it will contain some earth-shattering revelations. And last, yes, I did say last but not least, here is Primer, issue number 2. This is the second volume, or second release for Primer, and I'm pretty sure these were graphic novels before they decided to split them up and make them comic books, which I'm there for. So. And this one, apparently, there are heroes from the DC universe in there. So if that's your sort of thing, then by all means, stop by your local comic book store and pick it up. Over at the MCU, in the 616, Earth 616, which is the Marvel Universe, we have this week's Marvel titles. This is Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 55, still written by Zeb Wells. The art is not by Ed McGuinness, or I forgot who the other person that was there also filled in for some of the art. But this is the art was actually pretty good. Oh wait, I have it like right in front of me. I was just literally reading it. It is by Emilio Laiso, Laiso, and he is the guest artist. And it's not bad. I mean, I think he'll get better. There's definitely room for improvement, but it's, like I said, it's soft, it's round, I like it, and it has to do with Pete going out on a date, and I'm going to leave it at that. This is clearly a fill-in issue, because then begins the final run for Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. in number 56. But right now, this is just a date. And you know what? Before I start with the rest of Marvel, let me get into some comments here that I have. RJ's on, says hi. What's up, RJ? Spence says, I like the idea of a what if Jason Todd survived. Found it cool they released an alternate version of the issue. Well, 4 issues, man. But now I'm not necessarily, as long as they, well, no, they can't kill him again. I mean, I wish they would, but, that's just personal. Like, he's like the Gambit of the DC universe, if I had to compare him to something. Austin said, dude, I'm so behind in comics right now, but how do you feel about Mark Waid coming to Action Comics in the fall? Well, I have enjoyed Absolute Power. There are people on the social medias that seem to take what Mark Waid says on social media and hold it against what he does in comic books. And I'm not one of them, because I couldn't care less what he says. And so I'm fine. I mean, hopefully he'll be good on Action Comics. And I think Action Comics is going to be weekly. So, hey, it was in the 80s, and do it again. I mean, if they do it the way it was done in the 80s, I'm there for it, because they can give you a Superman story and then 2 other stories. There, if I remember correctly, there was this main Superman story. Then there was a B story that was also sequential, and then there was a C story, which was just like a one-shot story, which had a DC character that you didn't see too much, you know. So do that. Definitely, like, utilize more of your characters. Utilize, like, you have an entire universe of characters that aren't Batman. Try doing something with them, you know. It's really like you have this like embarrassment of riches that you don't use, and just I've noticed missing 3 is definitely weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I could understand if issue number 2 was missing, you know, because when we have to order issue number 2, issue number 1 hasn't even dropped yet sometimes, so we don't know what's going to sell. So some retailers would, you know, if we order, like, say 100 copies of number 1, we might order like 50 of number 2. You figure half or whatever, you know, but some maybe might do 25, and then those would sell out. But it's just definitely weird, bro. I agree. Haven't heard of Primer. Yeah, Primer was originally a graphic novel that DC did, and then they decided to split it up and make them comic books. Why not? Oh, let me address this for a second. Last year, in fact, I found the source of it, and it's ignorance. I mean, they're ignorant, and it was last year. Last year, the thing was that apparently Disney committed the cardinal sin of splitting up Mickey and Minnie. Now, the brain surgeons who are on social media came to this conclusion because there were what if books, such as the one you're looking at right now. This is What If. This is an homage to X-Men 137, which was part of the Dark Phoenix saga. And they came to the conclusion that because there was one issue, and I was going to show you guys the issues, but I'm giving enough oxygen to this nonsense. Like, if you want to go see some ridiculousness and a microcosm, this is the internet. This is the world that we live in today in a nutshell. These idiots came out and they said that Disney was splitting up Mickey and Minnie, and the way they arrived at this conclusion was because there were variant covers, these what if variant covers that featured Disney characters in classic homages to Marvel, you know, classic Marvel covers. And there was an Avengers cover where Mickey was Ant-Man and Daisy was the Wasp. So their bright idea was that, oh no, they're splitting Mickey and Minnie up, and now Mickey's going to be going out with Daisy. And I'm like, this is what the pandemic, like, it festered. This is what was going on during the pandemic, and it's still happening now to a lesser degree, thankfully, because these people had to get real jobs instead of, you know, just knocking Disney and Marvel, and it was just ridiculous. So I just wanted to highlight this cover because I guess that means that the honeymoon for Mickey and Daisy is over, because here we have Donald and Daisy, whatever. But yes, this was the Disney variant cover for this month's Amazing Spider-Man. Ridiculous. Up next, we have Fantastic Four. This is issue number 23 with another gorgeous Alex Ross cover right there. Here we have Wolverine. This is issue number 4. Ryan Stegman handling the art duties for this cover here. This is the final issue of this miniseries, and I'm gonna... well, no, maybe I won't spoil the ending. No, I won't spoil. Never mind. So, just read it. Immortal Thor is up next. This apparently is like issue number 775 or whatever, even though it's numbered 14. And, yeah, he's fighting Odin. Iron Fist. Okay. Iron Fist. Iron Fist. This is the 50th anniversary special for Iron Fist, and I have it right here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are five stories featuring Danny Rand. And the first one is by Chris Claremont, with Lan Medina doing the art. Second one is Iron Fisticuffs with Alyssa Wong handling the art duties and Von Randall doing the art. Third story is Emergency Call, Justina Ireland doing the writing, and Elena Casagrande. Oh, I did not notice that. as the artist. See, I did not notice that because I flipped ahead to the final story, which we're getting to, but hold on. Then we have a Heroes for Hire with Frank Thierry, which is good as a writer, and Ty Templeton doing the art. And then we get to the last story, which is titled Happy Birthday, Danny. And the writer is Jason Liu, and the art is by Willis Portacio. Now, Willis has been around since the 90s. And if I remember correctly, I want to say it was Cyberforce that he did. No, it was Wetworks. Wetworks was what he did. So I read that final story because there is something significant that happens in that story. And it was confusing to me. Not because of what happened in the story, but because of how it happened. And I'm referring to the art. Now, Willis' stuff is good. He also did X-Men back in the day in the 90s. So his stuff is good, but I don't know exactly. It was as if I was reading Matt Reeves directing a story. Matt Reeves can't direct an action sequence to save his life. And that's how I felt because it's action. There's action that happens in that story. And trying to follow the action is like watching a Matt Reeves movie. Or particularly watching Matt Reeves the Batman. And for something as significant as what happens in this story, you would think that they would have a artist that could maybe, I don't know, maybe he was following thumbnails that, Lou gave him. I don't know. But whatever the case is, like, it was just hard to follow. And if you're watching the stream live or on the replay, and then you pick this issue up and you decide to check out the story, please put in the comments and tell me if I'm correct, because it's not a me thing. Like I'm pretty easy when it comes to stuff. Like I'm like you drag me in a particular motion and I will follow it and I'll be able to understand it. But this particular story, the art just killed it. It just killed it, and it's a sad thing because, well, when you read it you'll understand. But I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And this cover, I want to say, I'm going to look. I'm not Alan Davis. Okay, this is Alan Davis on the cover here. The other thing I don't like is that when you look at this cover here, you see the entire, like, it's the entire thing right there, right? But for some reason, they put a black border around it. I don't know why. And I wish they just left it like that. But, it's it's a thing. Up next is Miles Morales. This is issue number 23, and Miles is taking on the Vulture. I guess apparently that's the Vulture right there. And he is still a vampire. Still a vampire. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. Number 8 is up next. This is where Peter gets the symbiote. Now, those of you that were reading this live when it came out will know that you knew what was going to happen because Amazing Spider-Man 252 came out like 8 months before this book did. But this finally explained exactly how he got the suit. And you know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I like that. I like that they did that. And I know this miniseries here has the rep of, it just exists because, they were doing toys or whatever. But you know what? It was a good story. Simple. And the art by Mike Zeck was good. So that's it. Here we have Sensational She-Hulk. This is issue number 10. It is also the final issue of Sensational She-Hulk. And I don't know how I feel about that. Spider-Boy, issue number 10, is up next. And this is not the final issue of Spider-Boy. So, and apparently it said it was Spider-Boy versus the Spider-Verse. But I don't know what happens in here. The art is good, though. I can tell you that. I did thumb through to see it. Spider Society is up next, in case you can't get enough of these spider people. This is issue number 1, and this is a 4-issue miniseries. And all your favorites look like they're represented there. Although I don't see... Oh, no, there's Spider-Punk. Okay, so yeah. Spidey and His Amazing Friends, issue number 1 is right here. And this is an all-ages book, which I also have to point out. I was gonna highlight this and do a tweet or something like that. Marvel sent me a little static cling thing that I can stick to the window that says, Actually, you know what? Hold on. This is gonna be dead air, and I apologize for it in advance. Stick around because I'm coming right back. But I want to be exact with this, and I want to read exactly what it says. I should have brought it with me, but I didn't. Hold on for 1 second. Okay, now the smart thing to do would have been to maybe try to find the graphic on there so I could have shown you guys instead of having to basically ASMR it by letting you know, describing it in detail to you. Would that be ASMR? I guess so. Whatever. It's about 6 by 9, and on it's landscape. It's not portrait, so that means it's wide. 16 by 9, and on the left-hand side, it has the cover for what you're seeing right now. It has that cover there, Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Now, in big letters on the right-hand side, it says, Kids Comics sold here. And then there's a little Marvel logo underneath. Now, I can't tell you if there's one thing kids like is being referred to as kids, because this is the location I'm in now, where I am right now. And before I moved here, I was next door, which was half the size of the location I'm in right now. And when I was there was a mother and her child, and they came in. Now, I don't know if you were watching me during the pandemic. I would do streams in the store sometimes, or I would go on other, YouTuber streams, and I would show off the store when they would ask. And I have... basically everything is compartmentalized. Like there's DC on the left side, then there's also the Independents on the left side, and I also have a section for movie tie-ins, video game tie-ins, stuff like that. That's like Doctor Who and Borderlands and Assassin's Creed and whatever, Godzilla, so on and so forth. And on the other side of the store is Marvel. Marvel is almost the entire wall, and then there are all ages comics. Now, when I was next door, the setup was kind of similar. Just the layout was different. But the child that came into the store with the mom, he was looking around and he was headed towards the Marvel section. And he's like, "Oh, I want to get a comic." And he was like enthusiastic. He was like bouncing and, he was excited about it. And then his mom says to him, "Oh, no, honey, the kids' comics are over here. This is your section." And like, I literally... like, I don't know if you guys ever seen, like, Looney Tunes cartoons or even, like, Disney cartoons or whatever. Like, when something happens, like, whether a character gets scared or frightened or whatever, or the enthusiasm, it just, like, literally drained. Like, it was a bottle, and the bottle had been emptied. And I could literally see all of his enthusiasm just leave his body. It just left. And he didn't care anymore. And I'm like, well, no, those are the all ages section. I try telling them, like, sometimes some of the stories and the art in those kids comics are better than the comics for the grown-ups, but they don't believe me and they think I'm just trying to sell something. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, some of that art in there is fantastic, comparatively speaking to, whatever might be going on in the main DC and Marvel comic section. But, so, bravo, Marvel, for putting in big red letters, white letters with red border, kids comics. Yes, I'm definitely going to put that on my window. Ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Okay, here we go. Up next, so that was my rant about that. It's just, dude, just all ages. All ages is fine. You don't have to say kids comics. Like, we get it. Star Wars Darth Vader number 49. This is the penultimate issue because it ends with issue number 50. And it looks like somebody's going to be drilling into Vader's brain. Wow. I don't know who did this, but I can see there's a signature in the bottom right-hand corner, but it's way too small. The Ultimates, issue number 3. I'm hoping this is just a miniseries. I know an Ultimate Spider-Man is selling well, and Ultimate X-Men is unique because, it is kind of manga-esque, although I don't mind it as much as I do normal manga because it actually is in color, and it's Peach Momoko. And Ultimate Black Panther is good too, but, like, this Ultimate Universe, dude, like, it should have stayed dead. Like, you know. But that's just my opinion. If you like it, I'm glad you like it. I never liked the Ultimate Universe ever. Here we have Ultraman X Avengers, and it looks like it's Tony, is that Miles, and maybe Janet and Carol and Sam. That's weird. That's weird that Miles is there. I didn't know he was in the Avengers, but comics. Here we have Moon Knight, and this is, oh, and by the way, this issue here, this series, this Ultraman, this is 4 issues, so just to let you know. Here we have Vengeance of the Moon Knight issue number 8, and hopefully you know, because I'm about to say it, but I'm pretty sure you should if you are on the internet or whatever. Mark Spector's back, and this deals with the repercussions, some of the repercussions of that, most of the repercussions of that. Venom, issue number 36, with this homage cover. This is a Venom War tie-in, and I didn't read Venom War 1. I'm going to get into something, actually I'm going to get into something next. I'm going to start talking about that. But this is Venom issue number 36. And that individual with the gun, with the big-ass gun right there, that's Dylan. That's Eddie Brock's son, believe it or not. I thumbed through it. The art was pretty good. I don't care at all about the character. This is Spider-Man. This is Venom War Spider-Man number 1. They're doing the whole thing where they have, like, you know, tie-ins. This one is a 4-issue miniseries. And I can't tell you, like, you just heard me trashing everything about this, right? I'm not a fan of the symbiotes. I'm not a fan of Venom. I'm not a fan of Carnage. Come up with the 9,000 other names of symbiotes, and I will tell you I'm not a fan. But I love this issue. I read this, and I found, like, Amazing Spider-Man is out, and the name of the store is Rogue Comics. Rogue is my favorite character, hands down. Nobody is even close. And I always read Amazing Spider-Man first when it comes out. So I read this one before Amazing Spider-Man, and I can't believe that I liked it. It's, in fact, do I have it here with me? I don't think I brought it with me because I was reading it while I was doing the books, checking in all the books, and, like, I even stopped doing that. But no, it's not here. But I think I want to say it's Jackson Lansing, and Colin Kelly, I think is his name. And it was good. Like, the art by Greg Land, whom, not a fan. It wasn't bad. And the interaction, and as you can see, Pete's wearing a symbiote. The interaction between Pete and this, like, it might be the nostalgia, you know, from back in the day when, after Secret Wars, and Peter with it just, I don't know what it was, bro. It was good. This would, like, be, I mean, I haven't gone through the other things yet, but this could potentially be the book of the week for me. Like, and I don't know why. Here we have Werewolf by Night. Now, I did want to read this, but unfortunately, they're all bagged. Like, even the variants, they're all bagged. And it's a red band thing. And actually, this is not the cover. That's not the cover. Why did they have that? I got this from Diamond Site, which I don't like going to, but this isn't the cover. And also, the guy that was responsible for the final Iron Fist story is also the writer here, and Davila is the artist. But yeah, ignore this cover. I mean, it is a cool cover, but this was the Blood Hunt one shot. I should have QC'd this better, but I just literally right click save as. That's what I was doing. Here we have Wolverine Annual. This is the Infinity Watch story continuing. I don't know if this is the final chapter, but here it is. X Factor number 1. I looked. In fact, I do have that here. The art is, well, let me get to the story. The story is by Mark Russell, who I'm not familiar with. I mean, I've heard the name, and I know he's done some work for DC that has triggered people. But this is X Factor, and the art is by Bob Quinn. To be frank with you, I would prefer if the writer was Peter David, because Peter David is responsible for some of the greatest X Factor stories. This is like that was one of the greatest books, the greatest X books that nobody read. In fact, I'm about to blow your mind with something. There was an iteration of X Factor that Peter David was writing where Gambit was a member, and I didn't hate it. That's how good Peter David is. So I would rather have Peter David on this book, but you know what? I'm willing to give Russell a shot. The art is okay. It's not bad, but it's not like, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And that's issue number 1. So it'll sell anyways because it's issue number 1 and people love issue number 1. I'm not exactly a fan of Frenzy or Feral, you know, but I do understand their place. Well, actually, no, because Feral was, if I remember correctly, she was only in X-Force. But, you know, whatever. It's the 90s. Like, yeah. So there's a second printing of X-Men, issue number 1, and this is the cover for that second printing. This was the promo art for these books, and I'm okay. I'm okay with them using, like, do a different cover. Don't just, you know, change one of the inks and make like a red background or something stupid like that. That's lame. Don't do that. Give us different art. That's what DC did with Justice League. Every cover, every printing of Justice League for the New 52 that they did had a different piece of art, and usually it was by Jim Lee. Like, you can't go wrong with that. Do something different. And here we have X-Men number 2. I looked through this. Stegman's art is pretty good. I got to read the story. I don't know what's going on. They apparently they come across a new mutant, no pun intended, and yeah. So Jed McKay's writing, and there you go. And that was it. That was Marvel for you. I should have seen that was it and then stop there. Oh, you know what it was? No. Well, if you saw the thumbnail, you'd have seen Magic by J. Scott Campbell. I had that cover here. I was going to show you that, but I didn't. And actually, you know what? Let me get to some of the comments here first. People love to hate Disney because they think it makes them look cool. Yeah, I'm so over that. And not just Disney, Marvel, DC, comics. Like, just stop. Just stop. Find a new hobby. Find something else to complain about. Like, you know, get a job, get a real job, do something with your lives. Have both Fantastic Four and Wolverine on my pull. Well, Wolverine, you just need one more issue, and Fantastic Four is still going. So maybe if you take Wolverine off, you could... you just remove Thor? You don't like Al Ewing? We'll catch up on it later. Probably won't check out Iron Fist, not a character I follow. Well, the final story might take care of that for you. And last but not least, I've heard the Ultimates is really good. I don't know, to be honest with you. I've never, ever been a fan of the Ultimate Universe. Ever. So I'm carrying that bad will over to this run. I mean, it could be good for all I know, but it's the Ultimate Universe. That's all I have to say about that. Babs, number 1. Now, this book is written by Garth Ennis, but that's not the reason I bought it. Well, I ordered it for the store. I mean, technically I did buy it because I do own them. You know, it's not like we're Barnes & Noble where we can return things. But the art is what did it for me because the art is by Jason Burrows, and I do like him. I've liked him ever since Crossed, which is a book that I didn't mention. Don't go check it out. You do not want to see any of the things that are in that book. Trust me on that. But this is issue number 1, and I suggest you check it out. It was a fun issue. It was essentially like a comical Conan the Barbarian, Red Sonja type thing. Geiger, number 5, is up next. This cover is by Gary Frank and Brad Anderson, and of course the art inside is by Gary Frank also. Precious Metal, number 3, by Ian Bertram. This is issue number 3 of 6. I was going to say it's issue number 6, but it's issue number 3. This here, okay, now, I know there's stuff going around about how IDW is only doing Turtle stuff, and that might be essentially true, even though they are doing Godzilla and Power Rangers, but this art in this issue was really, really good. And the story I haven't read yet, but I did look at the art, and I did enjoy all of the art. I don't know if do I have the book with me? No, I apologize, I don't know the artist's name, but trust me when I say it was good. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to reading it. And last but not least, for the week, we have Transformers issue number 10. This one is still by Daniel Warren Johnson writing, but the cover is also by Daniel Warren Johnson, which I wish he would also do the interiors. Please, Dan, please get back to doing the interiors. Nothing against Jorge Corona, who does cover B, but I prefer this. I prefer this to this. I'm just preference, you know? So, yeah. Let's see, what am I on? Oh, I'm about 41 minutes, so let's wrap this puppy up. And I want to thank everybody that tuned in, everybody that's watching this live. Spence and RJ and Austin and whomever else might be out there. Thank you for watching the stream. If you've liked it, I can't see where the likes. Oh, I got one, so appreciate that. I agree. Transformers, great series. Yes, done right. G.I. Joe, pretty good too. Josh, I'm streaming. You should know this. But that's it. Thanks to everybody for watching it, and feel free to leave comments in the chat once you do get the books on Wednesday. Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. And that's about it. There's the ways you can get in touch with me at the store. I mean, I think actually Direct, let me see, I think Direct.me also has a button that you can hit to call the store. Let's see. It does. The top button there. And then all the other deplorable social medias that I am participating in on whatever, the links are there for you. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and whatever else. But thank you very much for watching. Again, I do appreciate it. There might be a Fortnite stream tonight, maybe, not sure. If there is, it'll be nonsense and it'll be late as usual. In the meantime, I hope each and every one of you guys have a great New Comic Book Day.